Florida Panther fans, how are we doing this morning? How are we doing? How are we doing? That's all the energy I had left for this show. Kyle and I did a 4 hour, 20-minute live stream last night. We're going to try to do that for every game as much as we can. First of all, thank you for everybody who came out. Massive, massive super chat support. Thank you, Raven, for moderating. Nerfo was there moderating. I really, really appreciate it. We had a great time. So, you guys have heard what I had to say last night. Plenty. I might have a few more things to chime in, but poor Stu. Stu didn't sleep. I know he didn't sleep. He's been ready since last night. If I would have been ready to record this at midnight, we would have been there. But so we're gonna give the mic to Stu now, and I'm not responsible for what he says.
Good morning, everybody. So Eric and I usually agree on things, pretty much almost. But when he came out with his early season prediction, I had a little different take on things. I also had a little different take on things as far as points go. And, you know, I said, and I'll say it again, I think 108, 110 is kind of where they're going to be. But I didn't agree with Eric as far as a slow start goes. I didn't think they would be, you know, starting the season off 12-0 like they did last year. But I didn't think that they were going to come out and just take time to get to know each other and this and that. That's what, you know, practice is about, whatnot. I really think this team's got a chip on its shoulder. And I think they were embarrassed last year. And I'm talking about the guys that, you know, Bobrovsky, Barkov, Ekblad, Lombard, Hornquist, you know, Verhaeghe, the guys that were
Right.
that had to suffer the humiliation of winning the President's Cup and basically, you know, having their head between their tails or whatever that expression is, and fading off into the sunset, and having to wait the whole summer to come back. So the first thing that I noticed on the broadcast was that Tkachuk is wearing the A. And that's huge. You know, I was saying, I hope he gets the A. That's a sign of respect, number one. Obviously, it shows him that management feels like he is a key component and a leader. You know, A's are not just given to people, and, you know, it's not a popularity contest. So I read a tweet that said that his A is a permanent A, and that Hornquist and Ekblad are going to be switching up the A's at home and away. I don't know why Ekblad's A is not permanent, but that's another story. But anyway, so he gets the A. 22 seconds into the game, we get a power play, and the kid almost scores.
Wow.
And that was like, welcome. That now again, this is the first time we're seeing him play.
Yeah.
We didn't see him play in preseason. So, I mean, it's like, you know, welcome to the Panthers, Matthew Tkachuk.
Right. Yeah.
Great start.
Tkachuk is like if Huberto and Marchment had a baby. And that's who came out, was Matthew Tkachuk.
Then, you know, I noticed that he got into a little tussle with Matt Martin.
Yeah,
at the benches.
At the bench, and
I mean, it's just like, you know, he bumped into him, but he bumped into him hard enough where he started. I mean, you gotta love it. So anyway, I'm so pumped up because the Panthers came out from the opening whistle like they came to play, and that's all we could hope for. Because you know, how many games have we, you know, suffered through where, you know, it took them 10 minutes to wake up. And, you know, a lot of those games, you know, Bob or Knight would let up an early goal and we'd be in the hole and have to come back and this and that. So, you know, the Islanders are a good team. They're playing their home opener. So they
Right.
they got a lot of incentive to win. But the major observations from last night is this. Bobrovsky was in the zone. It's like the last season was still going, and he played 2 nights ago. So we get that type of goaltending from him. Solid. We're just, it's like you can't ask for a better performance. I thought the forechecking was I just overall from Barkov's line, Bennett's line, Lundell's line, and
Then the best fourth line in hockey.
and the fourth line it's Cousins,
Cousins with Lomberg and
Hornquist. Now,
I mean,
I'm going to jump around a little bit, guys, because I'm ADD and it's early in the morning. But Patrick Hornquist, this is why Eric and I were pleading and just saying this. You can't get rid of this guy. You can't get rid of this. Well, he proved one of the reasons why you can't get rid of the guy. He scores 30 seconds after the Islanders scored, and not only gets the lead back, but the most important thing is the momentum. When the Islanders tied it up, you could see the crowd came alive. They were pretty quiet the whole night. They come alive, and 30 seconds later, on a wraparound, Hornquist, and it was a great play by Lombard too. You can't take anything away from him.
right.
And we take the lead back and don't look back. Tkachuk had 16 shot attempts.
Oh, man.
That's insane. 16 shot attempts. And I was texting with Randy during the game, and I said he's got to get one. He's going to get one. You can't have that many shot attempts and have nothing go in. And eventually, I didn't think it would be an empty net, but I'll take it. But so apropos that he gets his first goal in his first game. So as far as the first chapter in the book of Matthew and the Panthers,
I like that.
I would give him an A+ for his first game.
Amen. Hallelujah.
I would give the team pretty much an A. The power play went 0 for 5, but you could see, see what they're trying to do. I'm totally stoked about, having that setup that I, was hoping for, which is Montour and Ekblad on the points. They only got the one timer to Ekblad. I think it was once, maybe twice. And both shots were not on net. They're just going to have to work, practice games. Eventually that power play is going to be good. Tkachuk, he's like a younger version of Hornquist, standing in front of the net, causing problems. In fact, tomorrow's game in Buffalo, I truly expect to see at least one power play goal, maybe 2. Montour's, you could see how more comfortable Montour is as the quarterback, as opposed to Ekblad, who I always thought was very tentative, with the puck, really not knowing what to do. And I don't know if they've drawn up set plays or what, but there seems to be a better, not going to use the word focus, like a better idea of what they're doing and where they're going.
Well,
it seems
the puck mover is a lot faster.
Yeah, and I'm seeing, like, if you think about it, if you substitute Ekblad for Stamkos and you substitute Barkov for Kucherov, okay, and then you got Montour at the point, which is like the Hedman spot.
And in one of the late power plays that we had, we actually used that bumper play where we had Reinhart in the Braden Point spot, and he missed. He missed, but I saw that and I said, okay, this is going to work. We're going
to and that's what I was going to be adding Reinhart in the Braden Point position. So there you go. It's the 5 of spades. And you got all those options. Yeah. So I don't know. all you have to do is watch, watch video of the Tampa Bay power play, and you could see, we have the same talented players that
Yes,
they
yes,
do.
yes.
And if we just kind of mirror what they do and
Right.
use the different options that they do, because they're really good at finding, they're finding the open man. So that's
Yeah.
why I'm saying we were 0 for 5, but it was encouraging to watch, the puck movement, and, they weren't tentative. Like, the power play last year, especially in the playoffs, I don't think they really had a play
Plan. Yeah.
like
Right.
plan A and plan B. I just think that they were, whatever. Okay.
Yeah. So
Takeaways as far as on the negative. Now,
sorry, guys.
I did watch your recap, and I like the intro. Okay. Am I gonna watch it every time? No, definitely not.
But
But
yeah,
you looked like Pitbull. Your singing voice is better than mine, but probably need to get a professional singer and overdub your voice. That'd be funny. But anyway, good job. I know it's it's a lot of work. And
yeah,
I'll just tell
yeah.
everybody out there, listen, this is Eric's livelihood now. This is his job. He's decided to dedicate himself, not that he wasn't dedicated, to just strictly this channel, and the Patreon and the flyingfluffyhockey.com. So we need to support him. So that being said, all right, so Mark Stahl. So we had a difference of opinion in Mark Stahl, and I'm not here to bash him, but he looked old last night. I thought he was slow. He made at least 2 key mistakes, 3, took a penalty. Again, here's a little, everybody's might have a difference of opinion and say he didn't play that bad, but he needs to play better.
Right. So yeah, we talked about that via text, and I asked in the stream, and it was as evenly split as it could get, where a third of the people agreed with you, a third of the people agree with me, and a third of people were in the middle. I saw a couple of giveaways. He had the one tripping penalty, but he didn't stand out like making mistakes to the level of like a Yandel or a Uyghur. So we'll at least start there. And I wasn't focusing in on him because I was streaming the game, so I was really paying attention to where the puck was. Hey, look, I'm the dude that was banging the table for Lucas Carlson to be with Brandon Montour. So you're
Me
not
too.
gonna
Me too.
right.
And I still think that that's a better combination.
And
All
it's
right.
just a
I
shame
like
with
this kid Mahura. I like him.
yeah.
From what I saw, he didn't he just played a steady game. Like Carlson. Carlson doesn't stand out. He's not a big offensive threat, although he does have offensive ability, and I think this kid
Right.
Mahura does as well. But I still say it should be Forsling and Ekblad, Carlson and Montour, and either
And
this
now,
Mahura and Gudis
yeah,
or Stahl and Gudis. I don't know what
right.
this coach or Bruno have. I don't know why Carlson is not playing. But
Right.
again,
Well, there's
we're
no
not the
room on
coach.
the team for him.
Well,
There's
they
no
didn't.
cap space,
Yeah, they didn't pick up Eric Stahl to have him sit on the bench.
Right. No, I know.
So let's just the two of us will give each other their takes. The Barkov line. So you go first, and then I'll chime in.
To be honest with you, this is gonna sound weird, but the Barkov line looked out of place. It looked like the Barkov line was the old Panthers hockey, and the other 3 lines were the new Panthers hockey. Like the like Barkov and Verhage still are with Coach Q and Brunette, and everybody else is listening to Paul Maurice. Not that they were bad, and I guess we don't expect the big physicality, but the other 3 lines were so physical that the lack of physicality from the first line stood out to me.
Well, you know, when they said last night, the second line, Bennett's line, and I really don't look at them as a second line. I look at, Barkov 1A and Bennett 1B. I really do feel that both of those lines could be a top line. You're right as far as, aggressiveness, and you're right as far as, playing. I don't know what, if you call it old style Panther hockey. I just think that, obviously, they got to get used to another new winger. The chemistry that they would have with, let's say, Duclair is not there yet.
Right,
But
right.
I
Well, remember,
I
it didn't work out. I'm not want to cut you off, but to make your point, remember, it didn't work out with Reinhart and Barkov last year either.
that was going to be my next point. I'd rather
Sorry,
see. No, it's okay. I'd rather see Lundell and Reinhart. Obviously,
yeah,
super chemistry between those two. But I also understand about getting Lusterrain ice time. I think that's a smart move because you're right. I mean, he's a good player that deserves more ice time, and we deserve to see what he could do being in the top 9. Okay, so if it's not Reinhart, they'll eventually find the right puzzle piece for that line. Barkov is Barkov. I don't expect him to be, the rah-rah type of player, at
right.
least not for now. Maybe they should actually have him and Tkachuk rooming with each other on the road or whatever. And, they should spend a lot of time together, and just by osmosis, have Barkov, pick up some of Tkachuk's feistiness, aggressiveness, whatever you want to call it. Barkov is still playing the game like Barkov. He's cerebral. He's not. So, but let's get to the Bennett, Balcers, Tkachuk line. Yeah, exactly. That's the face. Can't ask for more. I mean, those guys were
come on. I mean, every time they're on the ice.
So I expect every one of those players to get at least 25 goals. Every one of them. I expect Bennett to get at least 30, and I expect Tkachuk to get 40.
40, 50, yeah.
Balcers, I think, is going to get, 25 goals. I just think that's going to end up being like the first line. That's just, again, this is just my take after one game. But you could see, and Tkachuk said it in the post-game interview, like he's been playing with those guys for 10 years.
Right.
And that, I mean, all you have to do is just watch him in the interviews. He's so stoked to be here. Yeah. And like, he keeps talking about it, how he's lucky, that he made the move that he made. And I think we're the lucky ones. Like I said, seeing that A on him, just like, that's what I wanted. That's what I got. And, we're going to see now some leadership.
Well, from what I saw, just again.
Now, the Islanders have always had a great fourth line, right? Because is Martin, and I forget who the third. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear his name mentioned last night.
I think I heard the announcers because I was doing the stream. I think I heard, yes, he's still there, but he's hurt. I could be wrong, but I think that's what I heard.
Yeah, but Sorokin made some great saves. I mean, I called it, my prediction for the game was 4-1. It ended up being 3-1. So, I was close, but I just had a feeling we were going to come out. Again, we have something to prove this year.
Right.
To the league, to the fans, and to themselves. Last year needs to be forgotten, but never forgotten. You know what I mean?
I know.
That loss, the way they lost after the year they had, should sting. And that sting should not subside at all this year. But I'm happy to see that when I said that the regular season should be a precursor to the playoffs and that they should play playoff hockey in the regular season, that I'm perfectly fine. 122 points, that's not going to be duplicated. But I'm okay with 108, 110. I mean, obviously, I want them to win the division. It really doesn't mean anything if you do or you don't. Look at Tampa and what they've done the last couple of years. They didn't finish first. So I don't think they could sustain everything, the way they play for 82 games. We know that there's going to be some stinkers coming, but they came to play. They played the right way, and can't be any happier than I am this morning, to see hockey back. And
and that's the biggest
got
thing.
another game tomorrow.
The other game tomorrow. Well, what I'll say about the lines is that after watching last night, I'm going to agree with myself twice. And that is, in the preseason line predictions, I wanted Reinhardt with Lundell, and I had Reinhardt and White swap. So I had White up top and Reinhardt with Lundell. So let's just do that and then take White and send him somewhere else and put Heponiemi next to Barkov. That's what I want, is Heponiemi with Barkov and Reinhardt with Lundell. And then I don't know where we're going to put Duclair when he comes back. But if I was coach, but I mean, we got the cap issues, and that's the only concern I have right now. Is, I said this last night in the recap, with the level of physicality these guys are playing with, and having no extra players, no scratches. You can't say, like, Forsling took that hit last night, right? So there's nobody that can say, all right, we're going to give Forsling a night off and just put Carlson in. We don't have the money. I don't know what. And that's, when I say that, it's not like as a complaint. It's a legit, I don't know what the plan is. If, like, somebody like Hornquist, he didn't play every game last year. He was getting spelled by Thornton and Nachari, right? So what do we do when, hey, it's like, hey, I need a night off, right? I don't see how we go through a whole season like this, but I don't also see, we're kind of stuck. We're kind of stuck.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
There's one thing though. There's one thing that I'm just now thinking about, and I wonder if this is the plan. This is just now hitting me. Let's say Forsling gets hurt, but he needs 2 games off. Okay. Spencer Knight is still on his entry-level contract, so he's waiver exempt. If somebody gets hurt, you can send Spencer Knight down, save his 800,000-900,000 for that game, bring Lucas Carlson up. Spencer Knight, and to go with one goalie, I guess, in an emergency goalie, because I don't know how that would work. Can you do that? Can you go into a game with just Bobrovsky and only your emergency? I mean, I'm just doing it by the numbers, because I don't know, man. I don't know. There's got to be.
What's wild about the emergency goalie situation? And again, guys, I'm just throwing this out there. Roberto Luongo is always there. Do you think that they have a spare set of equipment for Roberto in the locker room?
It's funny.
Just asking. I don't know how they're going to work out. I mean, when Duclair comes back, hopefully
he can't come back.
They won't rush him and whatnot. He's going up on Barkov's line. It's going to be, Verhaeghe, Barkov, and Duclair.
Right. But he can't come back.
That will totally change the dynamic, because, we know that line is really good together. And obviously it just notches up the speed element big time.
Right.
So we'll just have to see. I mean, obviously taking one game at a time,
Yeah. But it's just when Forsling took that hit last night, I immediately started thinking, what if he needed a night off, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I
I don't
don't,
know
I don't,
where he got hurt. Kind of looked like he was laboring as far as walking, but I think it was like a head thing. I think
no,
he got rocked.
they showed it on the replay before, it happened right before the end of, I think, the first or second period, first period, I think. And he got hit up against the boards, like his, he fell awkwardly. It was like he was almost going down to his knees, and then the guy hit him from behind. So he kind of went into the board awkwardly. Um, so yeah, if anybody in the comments, if we're missing something, I mean, there's the only guys that are waiver exempt, I believe, are Lundell and Spencer Knight. I think those are the only guys still on their entry level contracts. So other than that, I don't know how you would work it because,
Yeah.
if Forson gets hurt, you can't waive him and send him down to the minors. Somebody's going to take him, right? So I don't know.
Yeah,
And I guess
it's gonna be interesting how they deal with injuries and the cap and who they bring up. I mean, I want to see Heponiemi play with Barkov. And we got the Finns, Luosterainen, Lundell, Heponiemi, and Barkov. Am I missing anybody?
I think that's it.
Okay, so we'll see. The Reinhardt thing might not work out, but then where do you put him? You put him back with Lundell, right?
I would switch White and Reinhardt right now.
And have
And then
Luosterainen, Lundell, and Reinhardt. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
like that. I like that. So let's quickly do the defense. Obviously, I don't have to say it because I knew it, but Forsling and Ekblad are just, it looks like they've been playing with each other for 10 years.
Yep.
Forsling is so much better than Uyghur and in every aspect of the game. And I'm just like cringing that Brunette didn't see that. Or Zito didn't tell Brunette, hey, I want Uyghur and Forsling switched. I want Forsling and Ekblad playing. Can you imagine if we had, when Ekblad came back from injury, if they had paired them up, Forsling and Ekblad, and gone into the playoffs with that pair
Right.
instead of, who knows? I mean, it's obviously we can conjecture all we want, but you can see already that, and Ekblad, I don't even think had a super game. I think he was okay. I just know that Forsling is going to be there for him when he wants to, take his offense up a notch or two. So, yeah.
Yeah, no,
So
just gonna.
obviously we talked about Stoll. I thought Gudis had a really good game, steady.
Yes.
And
Yep.
I really liked this kid Mahura. He didn't make any
Yeah.
mistakes. I'm sure he was a little nervous, and he's 24 years old. It would be so amazing if this kid could turn out to be another fine like Forsling. There's been a lot of good things, said about him and whatnot. Obviously, I don't know the kid. I didn't watch him play, so there's really nothing for me to go on other than from what I've read or heard or whatever. But he looked pretty good. He looked pretty comfortable out there. So
Yeah, he had one moment that I wasn't a fan of. He tried a long stretch pass that wasn't really necessary to try, and it got intercepted, and Islanders did get a chance. But other than that, he looked good out there. And look, like you said, we'll just have to see what the situation is. Like we've been thinking it for a while that Forsling was going to make us forget about Uyghur, but now we need somebody to take Forsling's spot as on that second pair. And Montour is who he is, and happy there. The coach did say, excuse me, coach did say it's all fluid. For all we know, they could be out there practicing right now, and it's Mahura with Montour and Stahl with Gudis.
yeah, that's the combo that I think should be together. Although, if you think about it, Stoll and Gudis are both older players and they're slower players,
Right, right, right.
but they bring the physicality. That's
Yeah,
the two of them are are pretty strong as far as their I mean strength is their game. I mean, Randy said that he told me that Stoll's, his big attributes are positioning and strength.
right, right.
Because I said
Yeah,
to him, he looks really slow out there.
it's tough for an old guy to play the second line because he's going to be slow, and, and maybe he just needs to stay back a little bit more. The one play that he got caught on the tripping, he had come into the zone, and he clearly tripped the guy because he knew he was going to get blasted by like Yandel used to. If you know you're not going to be able to keep up with the guys, stay the hell back. You're paired
Yeah.
with Brandon Montour. Let Montour go do his thing. You stay back. So maybe maybe he'll figure that out, or coach will be like, hey, look, man, you're the stay at home guy here. Because if he's already back, then he can use his strength in positioning. But if he's chasing guys, that's a whole different story, like you said. So
we had on the PK, we had Luosterainen and Lundell, right?
yeah,
And then
the
we had Reinhardt and Kachuk.
he had 3 PK units. Um, he had Lucian Lundell, he had Kachuk, but then on Barkov was in the third PK unit. He used the third PK unit because I was watching it the first time, and I was like, we've had 2 PK units, and Barkov hasn't been on the ice. And then there was a stoppage, was about 30 seconds left or whatever, and then Barkov was out there. Uh,
And
I
that's
like
good.
that.
That's good. The
Yeah.
last thing we want is a burned out Barkov.
Right. Yeah. No, I really like that. And like you said, with the power play, completely different. We didn't score. We're good. We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
I feel good. Now look, excuse me, for everybody who's ready to drop the mic that I was wrong about the slow start. Go easy, because remember, I also predicted us to win the cup. Okay? So you only want me to be so wrong. Right?
Listen, it's only one game. And if
Yeah.
you really look at things, they're only playing with each other for 2 weeks.
I really thought the Islanders would come out harder at home after how bad they started last year and having to start on the road. I really thought the Islanders would just come out just like a bat out of hell, wanting to be like,
Yeah.
under no circumstances are we losing this game. But then somebody in the chat, when I said that, somebody in the chat said something and it said, yeah, Trotz ain't there no more.
Yeah. Well,
And I think that showed.
Trotz's assistant is running the show now. I never even heard of this coach. But listen, it's a special year for the Islanders. And I didn't realize it until I saw the logo on the ice, but this is their 50th year.
Yeah.
50 fucking years.
Yes.
And I remember, like it was yesterday when the Islanders were born. The big article in Newsday, that they,
Right.
and they there was no New Jersey Devils at that time. It was just, the Rangers. So, yeah, I thought the crowd would be more into it. It just, you know what? I don't care. We got the win. We deserve to win. And it's on to Buffalo,
On to Buffalo. Yep.
And I know you love those afternoon games. I mean, 12:30.
Is it an afternoon
12:30
game?
starts pretty early,
I didn't know that. You're kidding me. No, come on. The second game of the year?
Yeah.
Come on,
12:30.
bro. Come on.
12:30.
No, you're lying. I'm looking it up. He's lying. He's lying.
Wish I weren't.
It's 1 o'clock. Damn.
Okay. I guess they're on the air at 12:30. And that's okay because I really like this new Katie Engelson.
Oh no, yeah, that's a whole.
No disrespect to Katie Goss, but
yeah. A couple people asked me what happened to Katie Goss. I said we upgraded. We upgraded.
Went to Colorado.
Well, it's a thank you, Stu, for letting me know the game was at 1 o'clock, because I did not. That I'm not even going to lie. that screws my whole day up. So much,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah.
So now you got
All
it. Now you
right.
got to get up early. You got to do the stream at what 12. I mean,
Well, the stream will
right?
start at 12. We'll go through the whole game, and then see, that makes it hard because I have to stream the whole game, but now I'm free at night. So now Karen's gonna want attention at night. So I'm gonna I will know, oh, when are we gonna do the review set? Well, let's talk about it then. We'll figure it out then. So
Listen, I'm always pretty much ready to do the review like right
yeah,
after the game, but we
yeah,
want to stick with your
yeah,
and we don't want to change,
yeah, yeah.
reinvent the
Well,
wheel
look,
here. So it's up to
game two,
you.
I'm not gonna have 30 hours worth of work putting the intro together. You know what I mean? So we go back to normal there. That'll help. So
Yeah.
all right, everybody. Who's got to log into work? I got to eat. I got to get these dogs to the river or they're about to bite my head off. Appreciate all the support. Like button, share, subscribe, notification bell, flyingfluffy.com. The stream starts tomorrow, apparently at noon. And then we're streaming throughout the entire game. All right. We had
Wait,
a good time.
for those that were posting comments in the chat yesterday about other special guests, let's just say I'm on it. I'm working on it, and
There you go.
hopefully we'll have some surprises for you.
Yeah. I love it.
So support the #1 Panther fan podcast in the world, Flying Fluffy. If you're not subscribed, you definitely need to subscribe. We want to get to 6,000, and before the playoffs, we want 10,000. So
Amen.
only you guys can make that happen. Anyway,
Absolutely.
have a good
All
day,
right.
everybody.
All right. Appreciate it, guys. We'll see you again soon.